Welcome back, everybody. It is Wednesday, and on Wednesdays we are live. And today we are going to talk about one of my favorite things, which is residential real estate. So, for everybody that's been here before, thank you for coming back like you do every single week. For everybody that has not been here before, go ahead and thank the person that invited you, because what we do here every week is give you a little bit of information and a little insight into the real estate market so that we can make you stronger, smarter, and more confident home buyers, because that is the goal for everybody that we know, everybody that is in our database, in our sphere of influence. That's really, that's my goal, is home ownership for everybody. Now, one of the most important parts of home ownership is not a requirement. And so it's one thing that I just wanted to touch on. We've talked about it before pretty generally, but I want to be a little bit more specific in the benefits, and the reasonings behind it, the risks if you don't do it, and that big topic is home inspections. So sit back, take some notes. If you have questions, please put them in the comments. I am watching comments as they come in live. I was having a little trouble with the video quality when recording on my desktop, so we switched back over to the smartphones. They seem to have better cameras than webcams anyways. And it also allows me to see the comments live, which is really great for me. The only downside is that we do lose access to some of our tools that we were using, but for today's talk, I really don't think that we'll need it, because today is really just an overview. And if you have more questions, we're going to post the log a little bit later today. So let's get into it. This is the RHT Buyer Academy, and today we're going to talk about home inspection. So one thing that people ask me is a home inspection required? And the answer to that question very simply is no. It is absolutely not required. You are under no requirement to get a home inspection. In fact, the seller might actually prefer that you didn't, in their favor, because you don't know what's wrong with the home. Not because they don't want you to have a home in good condition or livable condition, but the inspection report really brings light to things that need to be addressed. So what we want to talk about is A, the importance of it, but B, making sure you're connecting with a good and reputable home inspection company, because there are different types of home inspections. So we'll cover that real briefly. There are, let's talk about general inspections. There is a general home inspection where they are going to come out and they're going to test the limits of the home. Typically, a home inspection takes anywhere from 3 to 4+ hours, depending on the size of the property. During the general home inspection, what they're going to be looking at is any red flags in the electrical system, plumbing, maybe the HVAC system. They're looking at the big pillars: foundation, roof, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, those things. Now, they're also going to be bringing up red flags that maybe are not as much of a concern. Maybe they're saying, oh, you know, the outlet sockets in the kitchen are loose. Maybe there's some loose floorboards. And then we get into safety concerns. There are extra inputs and outputs in the electrical box. There are exposed wires. Maybe there is no GFCI protection in the bathrooms and the kitchen like there should be. Maybe it's a matter of the home being built before those new codes came into place. Maybe it's a matter of the fact that the home just didn't have that when it was built and the sellers haven't updated it. I kind of said the same thing there, so I apologize. So that is our general inspection. We also have inspections that are handled for your environment, knowing about asbestos, lead-based paint. There are also pool inspections, which is a great recommendation. If you see any gapping or anything around the pool, you'll probably see that red flag in your general inspection. Some inspection companies may offer pool inspections, but if not, looking to a pool professional is going to be your next outlet. And what we do once we get those red flags is we're actually, if you want to, it may be recommended by the inspector, it may not. If you want to get a further evaluation, you may say, okay, great, that inspector red flagged the electrical and the roof. I'm going to call a roofer and I'm going to call an electric company to come out and do a further inspection and let me know, A, if the roof needs to be replaced, repaired, anything like that. For the electrical, same thing. What kind of condition is it in? Are there any exposed wires that could be any safety hazards? Another great thing about having an expert come out in that field is that you can actually have quotes done. So if you're in the negotiation period, which is when we should be having this home inspection, is during our option period, but when you are in that negotiation period, we want to make sure that if we have the ability to get quotes for the work that we want done.
Motion detected at the front door.
It's Amazon. I got a package. We want to make sure that we're addressing those things during the option period, because as we know, the option period is your option to leave the contract for whatever reason. This is not in relation to the objections, the HOA, anything like that. This is anything. You can leave because you don't like the house. You had another offer on another house. You don't have to give them a reason. We've gone through them. We've not gone through all of them. There are 44 outs in the contract for the buyer. The Texas 1-4 contract is very heavily favored for the buyer. But we still recommend that during this free-for-all period, when you can have the inspections done, when you can walk away without any consequences and get that earnest money back, go ahead and do the inspections. Now, when it comes time to hiring an inspection company, we want to make sure that you're asking them questions. Are they licensed and insured? What exactly do their inspections entail? How much does that inspection cost? How long are you going to be there for the inspection? How do you communicate the inspection issues to me? Do you give me estimates and quotes on the items that may need repairs? There's a lot of questions that you can ask them to make sure that you're working with a team that is well fit for you. You also want to make sure that you're working with a team that is local. If you're purchasing a home in Flower Mound, Louisville, you may not want to hire an inspection company that's from Decatur. They don't know the area. They may be able to do a perfectly fine inspection on the home, but sometimes having a local representative that knows the area, knows the age of the homes that were built, and they're a little bit more familiar is helpful to you. Let's see, I have all my notes here. We've talked about why it's important, but I really just think for me, this is a personal opinion. Everybody has a different opinion. I have had clients who have waived their inspection and bought the home as it is, no negotiations, no cash concessions from the seller, nothing. And then I've had people who go in the opposite direction that will ask for everything. And that is fine. If you want to ask for it and it's important to you, we can absolutely do that. But I think we need to be cautious of what we're asking for in this market. So we're not going to get to negotiations. We're just talking about home inspections today. And a couple questions we get are the different types. So we talk about general home inspections. We talk about our environmental inspections, mold inspections. Another good one we mentioned very briefly is pool inspections. If you have young ones, even if you don't, and you're moving into a home that has a pool, make sure you're having the pool inspected. You don't know when the last time that pool was serviced. You don't know what the condition is of the surface of that pool. You're not sure really exactly the age and condition of that pool, and so it's best to have an expert come out and do that. And if you need recommendations for inspection companies in any of these realms, our team's absolutely happy to provide that information for you. Another question is who orders the inspection and who is paying for the home inspection? The buyer is paying for their home inspection. The home inspectors will typically ask for payment before they release their inspection report. So that's something that I always tell people to expect. Depending on the type of inspection that you get, because they may all have different programs. Some may scope the pipes. Some may do some hydrostatic testing with the seller's permission, and things like that. But typically, those will rank up in pricing. The more in-depth the inspection is, the more costly that inspection is going to be. And that is not to deter you away from it. If anything, it should encourage you because you're getting a more thorough inspection. And any red flags that are brought up can be brought up before you close on the home. Or before you get to the property approval and they say, look, your loan needs the loan type that you have requires that the roof or foundation, whatever it is, needs to be in a certain condition and that condition is not met. So it is best to have the home inspection done during the option period because we would hate for you to get all the way to the end. They've gotten through all of this process and the property isn't approved and now it's a lender required repair. And that happens. There are lender required repairs. Another reason why I think having a home inspection done up front is so important because then you're not sending this out to your lender. You're not giving them every problem wrong with the house. But there may be things that when the appraiser comes out, if you have an FHA loan and there's a big hole in the roof, they are not going to close on that house, y'all. You may be fine with it and say, you know what, I'll fix the roof when we move in. We're not going to move in for a month or so. It's not an emergency. It may be for your lender. So you want to make sure that you're aware of that. And this is another good reason to have that home inspection done up front. You know what the red flags are and you have a better way to address them instead of either A, not getting approved, not having the home approved for the loan and having to start all over or start renegotiating, or B, move into the home, The appraisers don't catch anything. Nobody catches anything. We don't catch anything on the final walkthrough because we are all humans and that happens. And you move into the home and find out something drastic is wrong. That the water heater is almost 20 years old and it craps out. That the HVAC system is also running on fumes and maybe it's got a freon leak. Maybe you've got just filters that need to be replaced. Little things like this will be caught during the inspection, but major things are also caught as well. I also want to reiterate, home inspectors are not perfect. They are human. They may not catch everything, but this does give you a good overview of the condition of the home before you decide whether or not to move forward past that option period. Let's see. We've talked about how to choose a home inspector, questions to ask your inspector, home inspection process. I guess let's cover that last and then we're going to wrap up. Sorry guys, I normally have my slideshow that keeps me on track and today I have all my notes. So the home inspection process, what you should expect. You'll contact the home inspection team. They'll go ahead and pick a date to go ahead and get the inspection done. It is not required that you go out there for the entire inspection. It could be 3 to 4 hours. It could be 6 hours, depending on the size of the property. Usually what we say is if you do want to attend the inspection, go for the last 30 minutes to an hour so that they have time. We give the inspector their space. They can do their thing on their own time and do it in the space that they need. It gives them time to get all their findings together and put together their report. And then they can review that report with you when it gets to the end of the inspection. Now, when the inspection is done, if you have not paid yet, they won't release that report until you've paid typically. Not all, but that's typically how it works. I would expect an inspection to cost anywhere between maybe $400 to $700, maybe even higher, depending on the level of inspection that you get and the size of the home. Obviously, if you are in a 5,000 square foot home, that inspection cost could differ from a home that's, 1,100 to 1,500 square feet. It's going to be a different level of work from the inspector and a different level of time that they need to be there. So we want to expect to just show up for that last little bit, review any questions that you have. It's always a great idea to ask the inspector, hey, do you mind if I record our conversation? Because it is a lot of information. The inspection report is going to be very hefty. Most inspection reports that I see are at least 35, 40, 50 pages, even more. So I want you to be aware that it's not a if they find things wrong. They are absolutely going to find things wrong. From loose light bulbs, loose light fixtures, they will find things that are wrong. So I don't want that to scare people out of getting a home inspection. If anything, this should encourage you so that you can sleep well at night knowing that you've made a safety conscious decision for you and your family. Because I think that is most important, is that you can rest easy at the end of the day knowing that we got into this home with the best possible condition that we could get it in, with the money and the repairs and the negotiations that are available for everybody. If it is a deal breaker and we cannot agree on things, then in your option period you get to save yourself that earnest money. I think it's an important piece of the process. A lot of people, I don't want to say a lot of people, some people will waive their right to an inspection, and to each their own. That's absolutely fine. That just stresses me out because I can't imagine doing that, because I want to know everything that's wrong. I may not be able to fix everything right away, but I want to know everything so that I can get a list prepared and start working on things and figure out what I want to do moving forward. So here are areas that I want you to focus on next time you have a home inspection. If you're going through the process of purchasing a home and we've sent you our referrals and recommendations for home inspectors, you don't have to use any of ours. We just know that these are people and teams that we've trusted and our clients have given raving reviews about, and so we've used them and recommended them again. But these are the areas I want you to focus on, because these are the areas, these two areas you can get free specialty inspections done. The roofing and the foundation, you can have a roofer and a foundation team come out for free and inspect the home. For the roofer, they will climb up on the roof. They will look all around. They will look for any hail damage, wear and tear, anything like that. They will put together a report and an estimate for you that you can use in your negotiations. Same thing with the foundation team. I love foundation teams. They will come out with this amazing tool that they use to actually measure the level of the home. They'll find the most level point in the home, and they'll use that as their center point, and they'll actually give you a foundation map and tell you what your levels look like, and also give you a recommendation if there's estimates that need to be done. Those two inspections are free. Please take advantage of it, whether you are going through the process of buying a home or you are already a homeowner, because in Texas, it is not an if, hailstorms happen, foundation shifts happen. It is a win. We have moving soils in Texas, and we have hail and tornadoes in Texas. And so it's going to happen at some point, and we want to make sure that you're prepared and staying on top of the condition of your home. Our other areas that we want you to keep an eye on when you're looking at your inspection report will cost additional funds for you to have an expert come out. You'll have to contact whether it's a master plumber, a master electrician for plumbing, electrician, HVAC systems, any interior, exterior structures, and then any attic and crawl spaces, fireplaces, chimneys, areas like that. Those are the areas where it could cost you additional to have an inspection come out. But for the foundation and the roof, I think it's amazing that those two very vital inspections can be done for free. I would not recommend only getting a foundation and a roof inspection and waiving everything else, though. I do want to just say that. That wasn't me saying just do those two and you'll be golden, because every house is different. Every scenario is different. So that is what I have for you guys today. I just wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about home inspections, why they're important, and why we think that they're a vital part of the process. If you have questions about the home buying process, if you have questions about home inspections, or you're thinking of doing a home inspection on your home, call us. Let us get you in connection with a couple of local teams around the area. And if you are ready to start your home buyer journey, email us at info@reynoldshometeam.com, or you can schedule an appointment with one of the team members directly at www.rhttexas.com. And last bit of information, our team number, if you need us, is 972-350-8509. I appreciate everybody spending a little bit of time. I know it's the middle of the workday, but I know we get a lot of people that come back and rewatch this after the fact, so I very much appreciate that. Please don't hesitate to put in any questions. We had a couple great questions that I am going to address in the next couple weeks. We did address it in the chat, in the comments about what MUDs and PIDs are, and so we are going to be doing a more in-depth video about that here in the next couple weeks. If there's anything else that's just been biting at you that you want to hear about in reference to the DFW real estate market, just shoot us a message. Have a great day, y'all.